Willkommen in Deutschland.
Welcome back. This is Michael Schack, an EDrum maniac from Belgium, but also maniac.
Just a drummer.
Just a drummer, really.
Yeah.
I know you play acoustic drums as well.
No.
You call yourself acoustic beat freak.
Yeah, I am. That's actually, I was always looking for like this typical 1 or 2 word thing where you can, you know, typically describe yourself with. And it is acoustic. You know, I've always been a fan of acoustic drums, but always from early in my career, I integrated like a clap sound from a drum computer or some bass note on the kick drum. So it is acoustic is my thing. And then I took this, you know, I had the opportunity also to become a part of the development team of Roland. So I took that towards them, and it became a very nice story.
Yeah.
But I am a beat freak. I like beats.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Before we and you hear about that story, let's hear a short profile about you.
Okay.
So, watch this.
Yeah. Michael Schack, 50. Born in Sint-Niklaas, Belgium, on the 11th of May 1966, and living in Antwerp, Belgium. Netsky, also my own smash up, Michael Schack, and also Milk Inc. I play drums, and both acoustic and electronic drums. I also play a little bit of bass guitar, and I'm a music producer. I think my strength on the drum kit is that I play it like I would be dancing at a party, I think. I'm endorsed by Roland for the V drums, also Meinl cymbals, Tama drums, Ableton, and I'm also endorsing Isotope plugins and George Strezov sampling packs. That's it. The first drummer I knew by name was Krupa. I'm mainly self-taught. I was kicked out of music school when I was really young. I got hooked on drums because I had incredible parents who saw that I might have some rhythm. Yeah, this guy might have some rhythm. And they saw this when I was only 4 years old. And when I was 7, we have this, in Belgium and in Holland, it's really famous, Sinterklaas. It's like Christmas, you know, the Christmas Santa Claus. And they gave me a snare drum, and it didn't take me a week before I had my own little drum set with boxes of, you know, the snare drum and then the washing powder boxes from that age. So that was my first drum set, and that's how I got hooked on drums. I love music. I love many different kinds of music, and I especially love making the people dance. That's why I love drums. Actually, I have a lot of music that influenced me, but when I look back at my teenage life, I was a very big fan of P-Funk, but I was also a big fan of Billy Cobham, and I've always been a big fan at that age of slapping bass players. So it's not a coincidence that I got into P-Funk and Bootsy Collins. It was so much fun to play along to. I didn't actually really understand the lyrics, but on the other hand, there's not so many lyrics in P-Funk. It's like, yeah, give it a funk, give it a one. But that's a big influence. Life-changing moment was the moment when I was in a band in Belgium, and I studied economics. And at a certain point, we recorded an album, and it became very serious. And then we got the offer to do support act for quite a famous Belgian band, Vaya Dios. And I had to choose between my first real job at the marketing department of a company or jump on the tour bus. I jumped on the tour bus. My parents actually pushed me a bit. Hey, now you have your degree and everything, just try it. And well, it's been a big accident, but a very fortunate accident ever since. So I've become a live musician ever since, professional musician ever since. I draw inspiration from sounds mainly. That's mainly also because, you know, I not only listen to jazz or the typical fusion or the adventurous drumming, but I also listen a lot to electronic music. I love electronic music. I love the way that some of those producers really did some very not cliche musical stuff and then still got to be creative and made terrific new styles of music. So I draw a lot of inspiration from that because I want to play that kind of thing live, and that's what I do. Yes, I do have a dream gig. I would love one day to play like a concert with the Foo Fighters or Queens of the Stone Age, because I've always loved pop rock music. And another dream gig would probably be, it's a difficult one, but another dream gig would probably be Muse. Yeah, it's a nice blend of pop, rock and electronic things in there. So I kind of like Muse live shows are amazing. My hobby became my profession, so that's already very fortunate, but I'm also a little bit of a petrol head. So I like cars, and I always wanted, when I was really young, when I wouldn't be a drummer, I would have probably been also maybe an airplane pilot. I like planes, especially civilian, commercial, Lufthansa, American Air, you know, the typical Boeing Airbus. I love it. So it's probably a little bit of my hobby. Dance along, enjoy, and the worst thing that can happen to you is cancer. All the rest is very, very relative, very easy to fix.
Okay, and we're back, and now you know Michael a little better. And yeah, you said you witnessed the development of the electronic drums.
Yeah, especially the last, let's say, the last 25 years. So I started out with full electronic drums with the Roland TD7, which came on the market at the end of 1992. That's also when I started being a Roland demonstrator for the Benelux countries, or for Belgium and Holland. And then, since 2001, I'm an international artist for Roland, and that was also the first year when I played Musikmesse.
Okay.
So I've been very fortunate, but also I think I'm a little bit lucky, because I also developed my playing together with how the technology developed. The biggest step, of course, was in 1997 when the TD10 came out, which were the actually first V drums. And then it became something I grew up with. But my main thing is, and that's probably why so many people usually see me playing on the V drums, I also play them on stage. So I also play them in actual band productions.
Let's get to that in a little bit. How did you like e-drums in the very beginning? Were you friendly, or I mean, there's still drummers who are very skeptical. Yeah,
and they will always be skeptical. You know, the same thing happened when in the beginning when the digital piano came out. There were lots of piano teachers and more classical pianists, but also piano freaks that said this is not an instrument, you know, it's digital, it doesn't have a feeling. But to be very honest, and now we know, without the digital piano, there wouldn't, and without the synthesizer, music would be totally different. So I think the conservatism in the drumming world has always been a little bit bigger than in the keyboard world or in the guitar world. You know, when the electric guitar came, it opened up so many new genres of music. There wouldn't be any Beatles or Rolling Stones or Metallica without the electric guitar. But with drums, it's always been like people just want to fight. But actually, when you blend those two together, you have the most beautiful possibilities, you know, to take your playing also on another level, to become a little bit more of a sound producer, which we are as drummers, and also to integrate, you know, some samples and maybe trigger some loops and so on. That's the drumming of today.
Is there a big parallel, like you mentioned Metallica and other things? Is there something that wouldn't have been possible without electronic drums?
For instance, the kick sound of Metallica wouldn't be there without electronic drums. Lars Ulrich has been triggering his kick drum. So many metal bands have been triggering their kick drums from, let's say, 25 years ago. That's how EDrum became the most popular module, because all those metal guys that really wanted that BAM! With the very low end, the acoustic sound in the middle, and then the very aggressive kick of the beater on top, that was a blend of samples. Those were the actual hybrid drummers on the stage. And you know, it still continues. So why do some, let's say, more traditional acoustic drummers still rant on electronic drums? Maybe it's not their music genre, but it's okay. It's a free world, and in my opinion, it's also a little bit due to the fact that some of the more traditional drumming press always looked at electronics like that's a toy. You know, it's something for people that live in apartments to practice at home. And of course, that's been a very big part of the marketing of those electronic drums. But man, now you see so many bands using Roland SPD-SX on stage as a sampling pad, and even jazz drummers are triggering loops sometimes. So it's all okay. The potential is still huge, I think, because there's still a lot of negativity. But you know, it's music is a really difficult thing, because many people have a lot of opinions, but they mostly have opinions on the things they know not so much about. So that's something I learned. And my motto is like, there's no bad music. There's music you like and you're a fan of. There's music that you don't like, but that doesn't mean you have to hate it. And then there's a mid-range of plenty of music styles that you don't know yet. And as a drummer, for me, playing along to a dubstep track with program or drum and bass track is as much fun as jamming with a bass player and a guitar player. For me, it's like equal fun.
Can you say how far the electronic drums, or also the trigger possibilities, the sample pad and so, have changed drummers playing, maybe also technique-wise?
Not technique-wise, but timing-wise. If you look at the young drummers that are really starting to make a career now, they are so stable tempo, because you know, they practiced with good clicks, they practiced with loops and so on. When I started out drumming, everything was like about live playing, you know, and you were playing along with for instance, a live recording from some band or Led Zeppelin or whatever, but the tempo was like this. So naturally, when you're a young drummer, you start copying that flow of the tempo. But when I started playing along to drum computers, for me that was like, whoa, what the hell, my timing is shit. And it made me work, you know, a little bit better on timing. And, you know, I started dancing. You know, just a 4 on the floor and playing on top with a drum set was an amazing thing. Now the technology evolved in this way that today It's like with computers, processors got faster and faster. So today electronic drums are nearly as fast as acoustic drums. For instance, I'm 1.80 m, and this is very technological, but very important for you to know. A guy or a girl who has 1.80 m length, usually the distance between the snare drum and the ear, so I'm talking about an acoustic snare drum, the sound needs 2 milliseconds to reach from the snare drum to your ears, because sound needs, time to cover distance. With the TD50 or the TD30, the latency between hitting the pad and the sound coming out of the PA is 2.9 milliseconds. So it's really close. In the old age, in 97 or for instance in 2004, when the TD20 came out, that was already the fastest drum set, but the latency was 5.8 milliseconds. So now with the new processors and then the TD30 in 2012, suddenly it became 2.9, and of course immediately drummers were like, damn, this feels really more direct. So that also made the evolution of the electronic drums being used on stage possible for, let's say, drum and bass and metal, because those music styles are a little bit faster tempo, and there was less problem with the drummer not feeling very comfortable. This is a little bit slow. So it's still evolving.
And you're helping.
I'm like a development consultant for Roland. So I help them with the user interface, but also mainly the sound design.
And where would you like electronic drums to go in the future?
Wherever acoustic drums go, wherever music goes, you don't know. There might be a young guy now somewhere in a barn in Australia who is just doing terrific things with a wooden box and a trigger on top of it and a module. Maybe whatever kind of module. Maybe he's making some kind of great combination with some natural products and a trigger and a mod. I don't know, and that's nice. It's nice. It's music has always found a way to evolve, but now with the music business changing and YouTube and also Facebook and all these things that we can access music for free, we can discover more, but it's also more difficult to make it last longer. So I don't know where it's going. It's going well.
For you?
No, it's going well for everyone.
Okay.
You can really see that. I would like to stress this as well, and this is really important. There's a lot of drum teachers that really now understand why electronic drums can be such a big help towards young people to start drumming, because of course there's still the noise problem and so on. And I always encourage those drum teachers to do both acoustic and electronic, and let the people decide. Don't impose your own taste on people. Just give them good drum lessons, give them good playing tips, but sound wise, let the people discover it themselves. And then immediately they will also get their personality going, and that's a nice thing. That's what should happen.
Okay, cool.
The conservative drum teachers, well, sorry guys, you missed the train.
But it's not too late to jump on it.
And it depends also on your students. If you have a lot of students that have been coming to your drum school for years and years, maybe there's less triggering, there's less opportunity to actually discover more new stuff. But those young drummers I meet, they're all playing along to great rhythms, and maybe they have a computer at home and they're using GarageBand or Ableton or Cubase to make their own loops. Even my nephew, who's now 18 years old, he's been making music without me knowing it. And yesterday he sent me kind of, hey, I made a drum and bass track. And I listened to it and I said, I didn't know that you could do that. And he says, yeah, you can use it if you want. So yeah, creativity goes where it goes.
It's still there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I saw your performance, not a clinic, and that was very energetic. No, it was
Energetic.
energetic.
Yeah.
No, it was
That's
good.
a nice compliment. Thank you.
And while one is listening, watching, it's there's so many things going on. So it's a drummer who wants to start with hybrid drumming. Do you have some tips what she should know, do, and buy first?
The first thing you have to buy to start really hybrid drumming is a trigger and a small module. Just to discover how you can enhance your acoustic drum sound. Like for instance, very simple, you're in a rehearsal room and you're playing with a band and you have the bass player who has a nice bass sound, he has an amplifier, and the guitar player has a nice amplifier, and you're playing acoustic. And the first thing I always felt is, where's the low end? Where's my low end? You know, you're sitting behind your kick drum and of course you put your drums in the corner because there's a little bit more bass, but it's not still booming. Well, the first thing you do is buy a trigger, put it on the kick drum with a little bit of module, download a sample from the internet. You can find lots of samples for free and just start putting that sound on top of your kick drum while you rehearse. And immediately you will feel like, wow, you know, okay, now I have power. Just start with the low end and then take it somewhere where you want to go. And now we can do it for very cheap. A trigger and a small, of course, Roland TM2 for instance, you'll have a system for 250 euros and you can already build your own hybrid drum set from there. And another thing, and that is also what lots of drummers are now doing, they're getting a sampling pad. It can be of any brand, but just being able to trigger a loop and play along to a loop instead of a click, that might also trigger your creativity, and it's also a very good timing exercise. So those are the two things, and it's not very expensive, and you can just start very small and then take it further.
How much time does it take you to make a song a loop, like to practice? So you said you had some.
Well, there's plenty of things you can find for free on the internet. There's so many things you can download for free. You can also buy sample packs. You can make your own bass drum sounds. You can put a microphone in your iPhone or Android phone and make a sample. You know, this, like for instance, your phone today is a sampler. You can download an app and it has a sample program. In every phone there's like GarageBand or whatever. It's just, you know, you can be on the bus and already start finding a kick sound you might like. And then you go. And
I guess drummers could also visit your clinic and learn more about it?
Yeah, or steal ideas. You know, that's one of the things what I try to do in clinics. Of course, I also compose my own music, but I always play at least, let's say, 50% mashups of things the people know. They heard it on the radio, or they, what is this? What is this vocal? I remember that vocal. And then immediately you give them the idea, I want to do that myself because I have that CD. I want to do this. And it's not very complicated. Lots of people have music at home. Also, for instance, there's older drummers that have a very big CD collection, but they're actually not using it. And there's so much good music and so many guitar riffs you can just put in your laptop and make it loop and use that as your timing exercise. And you feel like the live drummer playing with that guitar player. And then it makes me smile.
Good, thank you. I hope it makes you smile too, and you got some motivation from Michael here. There's lots to work on. Go and become a friend on
Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course YouTube.
YouTube. So check the links and have fun drumming. Acoustic and electronic, whatever.
Whatever music style. And please remember, there's no music you can hate. There's only music you like, don't like, and all the rest you still have to discover. That's it.
So enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Happy drumming.